I want to take a couple minutes and talk about industry observations. One of the things that I really cherish about this job, having worked from a specific vendor for many years, you see what's going on at that vendor, you see a little bit of what's going on at shows and that. But in this position, and our staff has this opportunity as well, we get to see what's going on in the industry every single day. We have a unique opportunity to pick up the phone and talk to the industry leaders in many different companies. That's something that I personally cherish, because what it does is it gives us an opportunity to really see what's going on in the industry. Also, in this position, we tend to go to a lot of different shows and to engage with a lot of different people. So, as I did last year, I'd like to give you a little bit of what I'm seeing, a 10-minute or 7-minute bit of information on what I'm seeing in the industry, and then also give you a little bit of a perspective of the past 5 years. Because 5 years ago, guys, is when we took the vote to create the Industry Association. 5 years ago is when we changed our bylaws to go from what was a very good, exclusive organization for resellers to a very inclusive organization for vendors and resellers. And I'll talk a little bit about how we've done since then. Now, it's easy for somebody to come up here and say, yeah, I went to the show, I saw this. Yeah, I also think you should do this. You do this with your business. It's pretty easy for somebody up here to do this. But I can also tell you that RSPA has truly lived that over the past 5 years. Our organization, our business has transitioned as it needed to. We have sold off our distributorship. We have sold off all that other stock that was sitting in there. We have even sold our building so that we could get in the right size our headquarters for our organization. So we've gone through major transition over the past 5 years. And I think we're doing all right. And it's not all about change. What we're seeing in the industry is immense change right now in our industry. Probably more than I've seen. I've been in the industry in 1978 with DTS, as I mentioned. And that was probably the tail end of the mechanical to the electronic. And then we had the proprietary to open. And now we're just in an immense period of change. I always say, and when I get a chance to speak in front of folks, I wish I was 20 again and getting into the business. And I'll talk about that in a second. But what change brings in our industry right now, we've got technology change. We've got business model change. Has anybody mentioned cloud or SaaS to you? And then we've got generational change. And I thought Garrison's discussion was so on point today, because that's the added aspect that we're going through today that makes it so interesting and so difficult. That we've got this technology change. It's equal to mechanical to electronic, and we've got the business change equal to proprietary to open that we went through. Now we've also got this generational change. Folks that got into the electronics business, the ECR business back in the early 70s, are getting out of the business now, either by choice or there's a nice succession plan put in place. Our role as the organization is to, in fact, sustain the channel and to, in fact, sustain the industry. And we take that seriously. The board takes it very seriously as well. So change brings opportunity. That's not me, by the way. Change brings opportunity. That's one of the things that I've always found. In fact, a good friend of mine, John Tater, always says it's an opportunity. Anytime you see an obstacle, there's an opportunity attached to it. So all these things that we're going through right now are opportunities or opportunities for us. And you got to be smart enough to make good business choices. You got to be swift enough to take action. You got to have the right tools for the job. And I love the story about having the millennials wanting the right technology, because that's right on. Our technology in the office is our tools. But the bottom line is that you need knowledge. And that's, again, one thing that we take very seriously. There's also market realities, guys, out there. If you step back and you look at what's going on in the business, you might make a sale, but in fact, your customer can't get access to cash. The competition out there is immense. You're not only competing against maybe somebody in your patch, but you're competing against folks on the internet. You've got post-recession business pressures. I know a lot of our members scaled down a bit during the Great Recession. Now, as business is coming back, they're hesitating. rightfully so, in bringing on more staff to address it until they know they're on good footing. So there's some things that you can't go after. All these things, there's market realities. So even though it sounds nice to do that stuff, we know that there's market realities out there. So what we're trying to do is to help. And what you need to do is you need to differentiate yourself. It's a crowded market. How do you set yourself apart? Okay, don't carry a yellow umbrella. But the reality is, just wearing a nice suit isn't good enough anymore. In fact, in the old days, when I used to go out, when I was a regional manager for DTS, I'd go out and I'd say, here's how you differentiate yourself. Dress well. Have a nice tie. Be better. Make sure that your proposals are not handwritten, that your proposals are prepared professionally and then presented in person. That doesn't cut the mustard anymore. You've got to do that, but you've got to do more to differentiate yourself because those tools are so readily available. I remember when I first started at Micros, we had a sales guy, Brad Roberts. I don't know if he's still in the business. He used to carry, his laptop was a Macintosh. Before anybody had laptops, before those compact lunch boxes were out, he used to carry a Macintosh and a dot matrix printer everywhere he went. And he never flew because he used to drive his car because he couldn't carry all that stuff on the plane. But he used that to differentiate himself and set himself apart to get the deal. You need industry knowledge, you need product knowledge, you need to understand what the customer's needs are, but you also need other tools to help differentiate yourself. Sounds easy, but it takes a lot of work, okay? I'm not going to fool you. There's an old saying, if anybody went to NCR Sugar Camp, that selling is simple, not easy. Business is simple if you step back and look at the plan, but it's not easy. You've got to work your butt off. It's a process, it's a journey, but it takes work, and we all have to remember that. So what we're trying to do here is help you. So the answer is, how do you make money? If things are changing, a lot of competition, there's market realities, how do you make money? And there's all kinds of opportunities out there, guys. And this is the nutshell. I don't want to get preachy, but I do live in Charlotte now. I don't want to get preachy, but I wish I was 20 again. And I wish that I was out in the business starting again, because if you go into it with a fresh attitude, there's all kinds of opportunities. If you listen to Bruce Stewart from Channel Corp, Bruce says, make sure that you go after the opportunities that, in fact, provide you the return. Make sure you have the right tools to go after that. So just don't, go out there and go crazy. In fact, focus your opportunities on where you can get the best return. So how do you make money? We're trying to help. It's a journey. You have to navigate it. And what RSPA, your industry association, is trying to do is to help you navigate that journey with education, information, and advocacy. And I'm going to talk about those for a second. And I'll try to put that in a perspective of progress. If you look at RSPA 5 years ago, and I alerted to it a few minutes ago, was a really good organization. Really good organization for resellers. As a vendor, and somebody looking at it for an opportunity, as an industry association, we wish that it could do a little bit more. 5 years ago, a group of vendors headed up by Mark Olson and Mike Bauer approached the association, and they approached the association membership, and they said, we really wish that we had an industry association. And the leadership then made a very brave decision. That was Dave McCarthy, Steve Kramer, Howie Aiken, and Bob Bauer. They said, yeah, let's do it. Let's work with you. Let's get this industry association going. And then I said 5 years ago we had the bylaw vote, and the membership was brave enough to make that change. If you look at where we were 5 years ago, we had a trade show, we had kind of a newsletter, and we had PC4, which is our distributorship. And look at where we are today. As an industry association, we've made immense progress and immense changes. Doesn't mean that the past was bad. We've built upon that strong foundation laid down by the ICRDA and the SDA, and we've built the RSPA to be one hell of an industry organization doing our members' work today. Everybody needs to give yourself a hand of applause for that. I saw it when we were getting ready for the awards banquet. I had an opportunity to meet with Alan Heyman. And Alan Heyman shared some of his dad's papers with me, because his dad's one of the founders, Stanley. And actually, those are the three founders, Ed Burrell, Carl Leeds, and Stanley Heyman. And he shared with me, this is the notes from the very first ICRDA meeting, June 1st, 1948. I don't know if you can see it, but I underline, the meeting which did not adjourn until after 1 a.m. is proof that the association is doing something for its members. And that's, again, today, that's exactly why we're here. It's exactly what we want to do. I thought that was kind of neat. We're here to work as a team to help business, our members' businesses, and the industry. And we're also here to work as a team to educate and to share best practices.